Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another edition live at Drew's house. Hello, Sarah Conway.
Hello, Drew.
My wife. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. This is a very, you are the guest today.
Yeah, someone probably canceled.
No, what we're doing today is this is the very last show of the year.
Oh,
How about that?
crazy.
First of all, might I say thank you very much for all your help during the year. Applause from
You're
everyone.
welcome, Drew.
You've been
I really did not do that much.
You've been a big part of the show.
I did help with setting up Zoom because he didn't know how to do that.
This does not happen without you.
I could have done better with the set work. I mean, it's like some days were better than others.
What do you mean? We have trees. Have a tree.
I mean, it was just, I would watch them and then I would see a cabinet open in the background or
That happened this
the
week.
lighting. Yeah.
This week.
Yes. I wasn't always here to set up for him. So don't blame me.
Have you been hearing a lot of uproar about the set? I think it's a good set. We got a nice clock there behind you. See that? I'm pointing to it. That doesn't really work. But
there's the
clock. It's over there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Christmas tree for the
Don't
holidays.
try and point on Zoom. You won't be able to point.
Does it go the right? It's over there somewhere.
Oh, I guess it. No. Anyways.
Well, what do you got there? A little coffee?
A little coffee and a Christmassy mug.
Oh, Christmassy mug. I've been using this mug a lot. This is actually your mug.
Yep. Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. That's good for a year end.
Yeah.
Well, RGB.
One of the people
RBG.
RBG. Letters are difficult. One of the people we lost this year. Of course, we lost so many people this year. I can't even. Going back to January. Yeah. That list of celebrity names. I mean, obviously,
huge.
When you talk about how many people have died in the country, I mean that's a whole nother thing. But it's interesting to think about. I mean, she wasn't coronavirus, but the people that lost their lives to not COVID, just people dying in 2020. It's kind of crazy. Who was the first COVID death? You really remember?
COVID?
Like the big celebrity COVID death.
I don't think I know any celebrities who died of COVID.
There's plenty. John Prine was one.
Oh, he died of COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he died of something else.
No, he went.
Didn't he have he had some underlying conditions, right?
Well, maybe, but I mean, he got admitted to the hospital because of COVID-19.
Oh, wow.
And was fighting it, and they thought he was better for a while, and that's how he died. That's why it was kind of sudden.
That was a big loss, yeah.
That was kind of the first big one in the music world because that was really early in the pandemic.
In music, but wasn't Kobe Bryant, wasn't he this year too?
He was there. Oh man,
that was like in January.
Yeah, we're coming. That was like right after the new year because we were talking about how a tough start to 2020. Boy, did we! In some ways,
did it go downhill?
It did. Yeah, it somehow got worse.
No.
I think downhill is probably it.
Yeah.
The Kobe thing feels like it was like
10 years ago.
Yes, but also like yesterday. Like it's weird. I've had that feeling a lot through the pandemic. Like it feels like it's been like the longest year ever. But then you think back to I feel like we were just like talking about that like yesterday in the living room.
Yeah.
I remember where we were. I remember we saw our cousins Kristen and John at the Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it that way, doesn't it seem like it was
that does seem like it was yesterday.
I think it's because we know it's been a long year and we're wasting time and it's all drawn out. That being said, we haven't done anything.
Speak for yourself.
Well, you know what I mean.
I'm just kidding. We haven't done anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember that day very clearly because the Trader Joe's was packed. It was like a busload got dropped off at Trader Joe's and it was packed. This was before the pandemic. Now you go to Trader Joe's and there's a line down the street.
Yeah.
To get in because you have to you haven't been to Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has been very interesting during the pandemic. No, you have to wait in line to get in, but I love it because you get in and it's not busy. So you just kind of. Anyways, you should take over with some topics here because otherwise I'll talk about Trader Joe's.
She does love Trader Joe's.
I do like Trader Joe's.
What is it, real quickly? What is the fast? Is it the prices? Is it the quality? Is it the taste? What is The people? I do like the people.
Everyone's very nice at Trader Joe's. And it does have like a, you know what the thing is, I shouldn't even be saying this because the thing should be that people shop local, and Trader Joe's is, on a bigger scale than that. And I do. There are a couple little local places around here that I'll go for like produce and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But there are some things that I just really like from Trader Joe's that I'll go there to get.
Okay.
I think they have a good selection of flowers.
Is that where these are from?
No, those are fake.
Oh, we should tell that story. That's
10 years.
That's a great pandemic Drew story. I've been getting new tasks around the house. Sarah's just trying to find ways Sarah's been trying to find ways to keep me busy. And my new, like usually I can do the simple things. Like I'm really good. It's not that I can't do the other things. It's just a matter of being up to the caliber of what Sarah expects.
It's very simple, man.
Simple man. But so like I do the Swifter. I can do that. You sweep the floor, you do the Swifter. I nail that. Very good, very efficient. Floors are sparkling. Mm-hmm. Dishes, I can do the dishes.
Questionable.
No, I can do the dishes. Come on, give me a little credit here. Mm-hmm. But the new task that was added was flowers. We have a bunch of like flowers around the house.
Oh, I didn't know where you were going.
Well, this is where I'm going. More flowers than you'd think. Like, there's a lot of flowers around. I can't believe
I do have a lot of plants. They're all from Trader Joe's.
Plants, okay.
Indoor plants. But I do kill a lot of them too.
You told me to
I'm
water.
not very good with them.
Okay. You told me to water the flowers though.
Yeah.
And I watered a fake flower before you stopped me.
You did, yeah. Because there's a combination of fake flowers that are clearly.
Clearly, how could you tell?
That's not a real. I mean, if you look at them and pick it up, does that look like a real flower to you?
It actually does until like you play with it.
I know, you have to feel it a little bit.
Yeah, but so I watered fake flowers, and that was you were stunned by that.
Well, a little, yeah. I thought you would do a little more inspecting before you just watered whatever looks like a plant.
Well, it's a tricky task.
That's okay.
You got to climb on things to get to some of these plants.
Yeah, there's some plants on the shelves.
Above the shelves of cabinets. Yeah.
I like a lot of plants around.
Mm-hmm. Are the ones near the door real?
Those are dried, so you don't need to water them. It's real lavender. Actually, that's from Trader Joe's too. Real lavender. Lavender. But it's dried so that those have lasted a couple of years and they smell like lavender.
Interesting. When we were talking about grocery stores too, another group of people that we need to give the shout out to. We've had actually stumbled upon. I didn't even know, but like a couple of the high school students I had on here earlier through the pandemic had mentioned how they're doing part-time gigs as working in cash out lines for grocery stores, and that is one of those jobs that's you really got to kind of tip your cap to in a pandemic, because that's not easy dealing with all those people and stressful times and all those protocols. So grocery store workers, hats off to you guys as well.
Grocery store workers, definitely. The delivery people. Yeah. They're everywhere.
The delivery, they were out there during the holidays. I mean, I guess maybe we noticed it more being home. I felt, did we do all our shopping? I mean, God bless you, you do all the shopping around here, but
I did try and do a lot of it online.
They were all over the place, but it wasn't just our driveway. I mean,
it seemed like everyone in our neighborhood was doing online shopping. So
it must have. The United States Postal Service, those guys too. First of all, I have to deal with our dogs who act like they're going to attack the post. What is it about the post office man that gets the dogs going crazy? He's just a normal human being in kind of a funny car. I get that. But, and I guess a different looking suit. But other than that.
No, it's that he comes to the door and he doesn't come in and say hi to them. It drives them crazy.
It's the fact that he doesn't say hello.
We see him.
But he doesn't
when we go for walks, we see him. And he'll come over and pat them. They love him. Oh,
so it's just that they're excited and they would like to see him.
They want him to come in and say hi. They don't want him to just come to the door and leave.
They think it's rude.
That's my interpretation. But they sound like they're going to kill him if he comes in. So
that's, it sounds like attack dogs because they get so excited. Both of them are jumping at each side of the window doors. So the mailman, but another commendable job of 2020.
Yes.
The delivery people.
Yeah.
Very
Definitely.
efficient, the mail people.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who did a lot of good things in 2020.
Yeah, we're not going to go through them all. I figured I'd just tip my cap to
I
a
was
few of
going to
them.
say the healthcare workers should be at the top of the list.
I think we've done a lot on
We did
healthcare
talk
workers.
about, yeah, we did. I know. I'm just saying if we're listing.
That was a good thing at, did you see that Gillette Stadium the other night to put the cardboard cutouts of all the first responders? That was kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find a small way to give a tribute to them. I'm itchy under the eye.
Dry skin.
Yeah, cold, dry skin.
A lot of dry skin.
All right, what else is going on? We got the new year coming up. What do you think? Maybe been a long December? The reason to believe?
Yeah.
Maybe this year will be.
It's not just going to magically get
better than the last.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Counting Crows, they're a good band.
But we have to be thankful because we haven't had it bad at all. I mean, there's a lot of people really hurting out there, and
yeah,
we're doing okay.
We are. I think the most interesting interview of, you know what? I'm not going to pin that down.
No, you shouldn't say that.
Well, I could, but well, let me just think that like this week, the last show before us, we had I had the owner of the Park Lunch, which have you been there with me? I know I used to go there by myself a lot.
I've been there a couple times. Yeah, it's great.
It is great. And Dan from the Park Lunch came on, and that's like the epitome of the kind of business that people have been telling you to go support. It's like not a chain. It's you know, yeah. And it's really, he was saying, it's like when I was growing up, and it's like a great story too, because he was a dishwasher when he was 13, 14. He was the dishwasher there. And eventually that became his life. And the owner was selling it, the guy that he worked for all those years. And he said, I'll buy it. And he bought it with his wife. And now he owns it. And he said when he was, in his teens though, all of Newburyport used to be these places like this. There were all local taverns, local pubs. You'd go and you'd know everybody. We're kind of the only one left. Now it's all, we don't have to list all the chains in Newburyport, but
there are a lot of chains now.
There's a lot of them, and that's kind of the same in so many communities, right? Yeah. And I do fear what this could be coming out of the pandemic. If those, it's so important to keep those alive because the chains are mostly going to survive. Let's face it, your Cheesecake Factories of the world, your Applebee's, that stuff, mostly those have the money and the widespread influence to survive. But those little places that you put your whole life into and your whole, all your finances into. He said that he and his wife have put everything they own financially into the business to stay alive through this pandemic, which is kind of a line you just kind of brush off. But I mean, it's literally, that's everything to them,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Very sad to hear those stories. And Dan was talking about how he did, he's actually back cooking on the cooking lines. I mean, there's got to be stories like that all over the map. He's had to lay off some workers, and he becomes cook, boss, owner, all at once, dishwasher. Crazy. So those stories hit home. Your sister's story hit home in the middle of that pandemic we did. That was during the summer when we talked with your sister Mary.
Yep, nurses during this time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
She doesn't get sad too often, but she got sad kind of talking about those stories. It does kind of hit you when you sit down and talk about them, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's tough to just go in because most people can just separate themselves from it, and just see it on the news and stuff like that. But nurses and healthcare workers, they have to go in and see it every day and deal with it every day. So they're really in the thick of it.
One of my best friends had he was saying that they actually had a couple weeks where they're, he's married and had a grandparent lost on each side. And he was saying that, it wasn't COVID, but it's one of the things that you realize is that you can't see people. And he said, he told me, he's like, I've been watching that on the news for months about how tough it is not being able to see grandparents and get to them in these, whether it be a nursing home or a hospital or whatever. And, I've heard that story a million times and, said that's sad and hadn't really thought too much more about it. And then it happens to you and it's like devastating. And he goes, just a perfect example of like COVID really hitting home once it actually hits your home. Yeah,
I know. So sad.
Interesting.
Well, you see all those pictures and videos of people in hospitals and, people outside of the window trying to just get a peek at them,
Yep. I just said, you know what?
Sad.
You know what story I thought might connect with you too? I was just
What's
looking at
that?
this Newburyport Daily News this week. This guy from, yeah, good, I still have it up. Good preparation by me. Amesbury father, this is the headline. Amesbury
Oh.
father donates nearly 500 laptops to people in need.
Oh,
How about
wow.
that?
I wonder who the people in need were.
Well, I think it's
Kids in
students.
school
He's
and
a,
stuff?
believe he's a, we should try to get him on the show, actually.
Yeah, that would be
Jeffrey Williams is a former elementary school teacher.
good.
And, he's spent the last 20 years working in information technology, and was moved to help this summer when he found that the requests from Amesbury Public Schools for Chromebooks was placed on back order.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's a big story too. I mean, there's so much technology that's needed right now to keep kids learning and in school.
I mean, you're a teacher in Saugus. How much technology is in the classroom?
Well, if to do remote learning, everyone needs a laptop.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just, initially when we started, it was one per family. Now it's one per student. So every student needs their own to really do it in, the way that we're trying to do it this year. But it's not just that, it's the internet too. Mm-hmm. And you notice it in different households, the internet's better.
Like strength of connection.
Yeah. And there's certain areas, I mean, we're lucky here, but there are certain areas in the country where the internet is not good. And they're, they really struggle with remote learning. And
I think I'm no information, actually, we could have this Jeffrey Williams on, information technology, he could probably help us better. But the internet, I mean, I think there's different levels of like internet strength in like communities too, right? And depending on your service.
Yeah, that's more like rural. I've
always had the double R. Rural.
Word. Rural.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Nailed it.
Those more rural areas would have, like in the middle of the country and stuff like that down south, have a harder time with the internet, and they're just like losing kids from their school systems. Did you watch that 60 Minutes with me? Should I not be talking about 60 Minutes on here?
We can talk about 60 Minutes. We can talk about anything. A competitor, yes. I'm not sure they're too concerned about us.
There was a whole 60 Minutes on it where there was a woman who was tracking down all of the students who had been lost with remote learning, who just weren't checking in, nothing. And these kids are, going from house to house or living situation to living situation. And it's very hard to track them down.
Do you think most kids are being good? Like, let's not necessarily, hey, dogs. They want to be a part of the show today.
Hey, they do have their cute little bandanas on.
I'll talk about them in a little bit. But do you think that most kids, like I've heard stories, and I'm thinking it's probably not as prevalent as maybe some think it is. But like if, for instance, I had heard a story, a mother was talking about this, and the kid was in class, so he had like 20, this is like a high school kid. Mm-hmm. So maybe not the best. Well, let's face it, maybe a lot of high school kids are doing this. Had the computer up and the TV right over the computer.
Oh, I'm sure.
So like,
what would you do in high school?
I know. So he's just watching cartoons all day. There's got to be a lot of that happening, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it is what it is. There's a lot of downfalls to remote learning. There are some good things too. I mean, when I think back to high school, middle school, I feel like I was very anxious during that time, and you get that feedback from a lot of students too, and there's been some studies on that too. Like the anxiety of some kids has really gone down during this time.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So do you think, are there parts of remote learning that could help us going forward as a education system?
Well, we've just had to like learn a ton about technology in like such a quick amount of time, So yeah, there's a lot of parts that I'm going to take away from it and continue to use.
I wonder, because you say like it's so much better being in the classroom, right?
But I mean, I also deal with a different population of students.
Yeah. But I mean, I think most teachers probably feel that. You do miss that general. I mean, if you told teachers like 2 years ago that they'd be teaching virtually for a year, they'd be like, oh, what? That's not going to work. You need that kind of.
If you told us that right when the pandemic started, we did not know.
Yes, that's true.
Is going to be we were like, oh, 2 weeks off.
How about the learning too that like teachers had to do? Like I'd never heard of Zoom. Like,
I hadn't heard of Zoom before this happened.
That's been our lives and so many people's lives for this year. I mean, I do this show strictly on Zoom. You did months of teaching strictly on Zoom.
I didn't use it.
You didn't use it? What was that?
Google.
Oh.
We use all Google, just in case.
Okay. Fair and balanced.
I was using Google like I was supposed to.
Sorry. She rolls her eyes at me. I get rolled the eyes at a lot.
Yes.
What is your best memory of 2020?
My best memory.
Spending time with
well, no, but that's general. I thought you were thinking of like a specific. Well, yeah, definitely. I think it's been nice to kind of slow down and just spend a lot of time with you and dogs. Mm-hmm. And
sure.
You know,
I can understand
simple. That. I mean, I really don't. How am I going to put this where I don't offend people? I'm a homebody, and I really don't mind quarantining.
You don't like being cemented into plans.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I hate. Maybe hate's a strong word. Going into a weekend and having everything lined up for me with things that I have to do. Mm-hmm. I love weekends when it's just no plans. I can figure out what I need to do and just spend time kind of relaxing. So I feel like I said that all wrong.
No, you made sense. Would you say we're the same in that way?
No. Drew really struggles in quarantine. He has a hard time finding things to do that don't involve going out and socializing.
I really miss live music.
And I miss live music. I do miss concerts and stuff like that. And I miss seeing my family. That definitely.
You kind of have to say that.
Oh yeah, but it is. I mean, it is hard.
It is hard.
Not seeing your family.
Christmas is weird this year. That's my favorite holiday, Christmas, because we usually do a big. It just fell onto our laps nicely when we got married. But your family did Christmas Eve. Always, mm-hmm. My family did Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And it was your family would get everybody together. My family would get everybody together, and they were big gatherings. It was like, that's what I always loved about it. Saw everybody.
Yep.
This year, nope.
But we got to spend Christmas morning with the dogs, and they loved it.
Oh, the dogs,
they have been living their best lives
in
quarantine.
I think this has been a good year for dogs. I actually tweeted that the other day, put a picture of our boys up, and said, I've decided this is the Christmas of the dogs.
It was, usually I do feel guilty because we have to leave them the whole day, you know? Mm-hmm. And not that we're not the crazy dog people who think they're our kids. They're not. But they actually really enjoy unwrapping presents.
It's hilarious. They know what to do.
They love it.
We took some videos and people were like, wait, you're not going to open the gifts for them? Like, no, they do that.
Yeah, they open them. They jump around with their new toys. It's like really cute.
They just destroy the new toys within 30 minutes usually. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a whole day of it. So
that has been nice. I would say that. So here's the thing. I'm very fortunate that my work didn't close down, and I was one of the few that continued to go in. And for me, that worked. I enjoy the aspect of getting up, having my coffee, and getting going in the day, and just being out and about in the city. Not like I'm running around the city, but you know what I mean? Like, go to work in the city, and I like that idea of getting there. I have certain routines of certain things I listen to on the radio, get there, and I like that. Mm. I do understand. I think I'm one of those people that probably couldn't do full-time from home, but I do understand there is a nice balance there of being able to take the dogs for a walk, or even having the dog at your feet a little bit while doing some work. I like that home life thing a little bit.
Yeah.
I like the idea of taking a walk around the neighborhood in the middle of the day. That's a nice idea.
It doesn't really happen that way. I do.
You've never taken a walk around the neighborhood middle of your day?
No. Now my remote days are lined up. They're packed from.
So that's you. But people do that.
But I'm sure other people in other professions do that. But
work in pajamas.
It would be nice to work from home. I think if you could kind of make your own schedule and have some free time to do that and not have to worry about. Our dogs are really loud. So if I'm doing remote sessions and they're barking in the background, it like I can't hear anything.
Have to work around the mailman.
Yeah, so when the mailman comes, anytime packages are being dropped off, they go crazy.
Yeah. And
just in general, like a dog walks by and they go crazy. So I did not do well with, I don't like remote learning.
You would rather, so if, it's interesting. I thought you were going to really enjoy it.
It's not like, I don't know. I would prefer in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to go to work. I am a homebody, but to me, it's more frustrating to not be able to help in the way that I want to.
So you will not see us on the front lines of pushing for all virtual learning on the other side of this?
No. And have you ever, I mean, you've done Zoom calls where it's just our family.
I don't even like Zoom.
Can you imagine having to teach a group of 20, 25 students over a Zoom call?
No, I can't imagine.
I mean,
and I don't mean I don't like Zoom, by the way. That's rude to say while using Zoom. Thank you for all you provide.
Yeah, it's great that we have it and we're able to.
I am so zoomed out, you know?
Yeah.
Like my sister, I straight up told her, you kind of laughed, but like she's really good about organizing like games, and we'll do Zoom games, which are like they're kind of cool. There's programs set up and like they work.
Yeah.
And they're functional and it's a good way to stay social. But like, what was it, like a week ago? Like just coming up on Christmas, she was like, let's get together and do a Zoom night. And I just said no.
Yeah.
Zoomed out. Done.
You haven't even been doing Zoom that much.
I do it every day.
Because you're not doing it for work or anything. You're just, I guess you're doing it for this.
Really? Yeah. But
some people spend pretty much their whole day like this.
I know, but it's just something I'm not accustomed. Like I don't even, seriously, you own 3 laptops, right? How many laptops? I
own 3.
Don't you have 3? You have this one, you have the black one?
I own this one. The black one is my work laptop.
So that's 2. And then you have the Chromebook thing that's just like a laptop too, or the tablet. What's that tablet thing?
That's my other one. That's my work one.
Okay. That's the same one? Okay, so you have 2 laptops.
Yeah, but that one's my work one.
Okay, but there's 2 laptops currently in the house. Do you know that when we started this, this is yours. I don't have a laptop.
I know.
I don't like them.
I did buy you one, but that was years ago.
No, it's probably around somewhere, right? You would know, but I don't.
I think it is. I think we do still have it. Yeah, I don't know if it works very well.
But I just don't use it. I don't like the idea of looking at the screen all day. And you know what? I go into work and pretty much work off the screen all day. So it's like I don't know. I have enough of that in my life. I don't need more of it, which is why I've never owned a laptop in my since we've lived in Danvers. I've never owned a laptop. You got me that when we used to live in Hudson back in the day.
Yeah, you just use your phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing. You're looking at a screen all day on the phone too. You can pull up pretty much anything you need. So then when we started doing this show, I needed the laptop. So here we are. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
You've bailed out the show again. And we, of course, have to thank, I try to do this as much as I can, all the people back in Newburyport, that Tyler and Caleb and Sarah, who you have actually probably never met in person. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a weird intersecting of life there. But they have hustled into the station, got these shows in, and kept it going. We never turned the lights. We very briefly turned the lights off on this show. Like when we couldn't go into the studio, they shut the studio down when everything shut down at the beginning of the pandemic. But it was for a very short period of time that this show really shut down. In the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that long when I look back. And Sarah gave me a call however long into the pandemic and said, Sarah Hayden, and said, let's look into the virtual thing. Get yourself familiar with Zoom. And then I ran to you, started asking questions, and she and they made it happen. So Sarah Hayden, Tyler Neufeld, Caleb Noble, you guys made this work for this year. So, and I could see myself, like, it does give you the opportunity to get some, like for my old show, it was all done in Newburyport, and you had to be at Newburyport at showtime. Boom, you had to be there. So it was like you had to pin guests down, and if people had other things going on, it was, I can't get to Newburyport, I'm sorry, I have this going on. Love to be on, but this has given me that opportunity to talk to some more people.
Yeah.
Can talk to anybody.
You can do it whenever.
I've talked to people I've done people in London. That guy from Jethro Tull, Martin Barr, a legend.
Yeah.
Talked to him from London.
You did. You talked to a couple people from overseas.
Ambassador Scott Brown.
Scott Brown.
Former senator from New Zealand. Probably.
Someone else who was overseas. No, I can't think of a musician.
I saw Scott Brown
Jazz.
back. Oh, yeah. Who else did I talk to? I can't remember.
Okay,
I've done so many
people.
You lose them after a while.
Yeah.
Did you see Senator Scott Brown came back from ambassadorship was over?
I did see that, yeah. He's back. What is he doing?
Well, family time, I think, at first. It must be weird for him because New Zealand was pretty much opening up. I mean, they were starting to have concerts and everything. They had done a really good job with the pandemic and were kind of praised globally for it.
Good job, New Zealand.
So, of course, a much smaller place, but they did a good job. You got to give them credit. And so I saw him. He's a musician too, and he was playing like guitar in a band, live people out there drinking, all that stuff, having a nice day. And I saw a video of him, and it must be still kind of strange. I mean, I know he stays in tune. It must be kind of strange to come back here and, it's like nothing's open, and I mean, there's no concerts going on. What are we thinking? We usually like to end with so much of our life is about music and live shows. We've had so many musicians on. Are you thinking concerts in 2021? Because I don't think so. 2022?
Maybe they'll get more of because we did a couple social distance concerts. Maybe they'll be able to figure that out in a way that's profitable for them, because what we had done, I don't think was really profitable for anyone. It was just to kind of keep it alive. Yeah.
I think as far as those big shows go, theaters and stuff, I'm thinking most musicians I've talked to, the bigger ones, have been talking about 2022.
2020, yeah. Well, my cousin works on Broadway. And, and I think she was saying 2022 too was when they were thinking of.
There was another celebrity death from COVID.
Yeah. And
what was his name there? Mind blanking. You don't remember? The big,
I know he worked on Broadway. He seemed very well loved by a lot of people. So
talk about an industry that's been brutal to Broadway. New York City. We love New York City. Visiting. I wonder what that will look like afterwards. Certainly, you're going to see changes. I mean, too many businesses have not made it through.
Yeah, the whole landscape. I mean, you talk about all those small businesses losing. I mean, that is really the heart of all those cities too. So
Broadway is going to be one of those last ones. Theaters, live entertainment
to come back. Yeah, indoor theaters coming back. So
we tried to get your cousin on. I am interested about that world. What happens now? Where do all those people go?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not paying New York City rents. My goodness. Expensive.
Very expensive.
Just like Boston. Although I also heard people are moving out of the cities.
That's been a big thing too.
As one person I talked to said, Boston isn't really all that sexy to live in if there's no bars and if there's no places to go out.
That's why you live in a city.
Yes.
If there's nothing to do, people are they're having trouble, right? Not just with office space, because offices are realizing either they don't need any office space or they need so much less than they originally planned for.
Yeah.
And then also renters and stuff are saying, I don't want to pay this huge, think of how much we paid when we were living in Boston. It's ridiculous. I can use that money and buy a house. And yeah. In
those were the days, weren't they?
We did a lot.
In Boston.
We did a lot when we lived in Boston.
Yes. We were Brighton kids. We
didn't actually, yeah. Well, we lived, they were all in Brighton, but I lived right on Comm Ave. You kind of lived with me.
Oh, I lived in Oak Square for a little while.
You lived in Oak Square and we kind of went back and forth. I lived in Oak Square for a little bit too.
Brighton was a good place. We were always more Brighton than Southie. They were very different.
Southie seems to have kind of picked up a little bit more than Brighton did, but I liked Brighton.
More parking in Brighton.
Yeah, Southie was always difficult with parking, and we had jobs where we needed cars. Yeah.
But interesting. I hope we don't need any more condos in Boston. Don't shut down all the bars and make them into condos. That would be sad.
Well, it doesn't sound like the condos are doing well either.
No, but there are complexes being built.
Yeah.
People with condo money in that industry can build more coming out of this.
they can build it, but will people pay to live there?
Eventually, you would think so. But you do need restaurants and bars. That's one of the artists I had on. Remember Will Daly, who I like very much. Will Daly. Gotta say that name slowly. I always double up on the Will. Will. Will Daly was talking about how if the musicians all end up moving out and they can't keep going, and not just musicians, any kind of artist, whether it be painters, so anything, anything that brings culture into a community. If these people all can't afford to live here anymore and they're not supported and they have to go a different career path, it takes away from the whole culture, and people aren't going to come out to restaurants if there's no musicians there. People aren't going to be able to go see shows. And when you can't go see these things, guess what? It's not as cool to live in those places. So help each other. That's the deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2020, that puts the 2020 year to bed.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
2021 vaccines.
Yeah.
Hopefully people get them.
Oh, is that the year? That's what we were calling 2021? We're going to call it the year of the vaccine? I like it.
I think it's going to be a long haul getting people vaccinated. They've already had struggles. So.
You should get one. Teachers need vaccines. Why aren't we giving teachers vaccines?
The healthcare workers haven't gotten vaccines yet.
I know.
They need to get them in the healthcare workers, the nursing homes. That's probably important. And then trickle down to.
And Marco Rubio and Nancy Pelosi too. No comment. Let's not get political to end the year.
Yeah, no.
Happy New Year, kiddo.
Maybe should be a little further down the line to get the vaccines.
Ooh, final point from Sarah. Very nice. Happy New Year. Thank you for all your help on the show.
You're welcome.
Cheers again.
Cheers.
And thank you all to your support for this year. It's been weird. I've had you here in my kitchen with us. Thank you for all your support. We hope you've enjoyed it. It's taken a lot to keep this needle moving, as they say, but the show has gone on from here. And anyway, thanks for sticking with us. I hope we brought you some interesting guests, and we hope we brought you some interesting content to watch while you're staying at home in quarantine. And until further notice, we're going to keep doing that. So stay safe, stay socially distant, and all the best to you and your families. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, Sarah.
Happy New Year. 2021.
Do you want to see if Mookie wants to come on? One last appearance?
Mookie. Seems like they're sleeping. Hey, you guys want treats?
This is a good example to end the show for the year. This is usually they come running.
You want?
Yeah, let's get them to say hello. We'll let the dog say goodbye. To them?
Do you want to pause it?
No. You can. This will be fine. We'll do the whole process. Thank you again, everybody. And again, to Sarah, Tyler, and Caleb. Thank you guys very much back at the station. Mm-hmm. There they are. Mookie, get up here. Come on, Mookie.
Up here.
Come say hello. This is my dog, Mookie. Come on.
Look, we match.
Oh, look at that.
There's Mookie.
There's Mookie. See Mookie. Can Henry make an appearance? He's right here too.
Hey, baby. You want to move the...
Yeah, I'll move the... All right. And there's the dogs.
Nice. You have the counters. Come here, honey. Come here.
This is good and wild. Oh, wait a second. I'm turning it wrong. There's the boys. There's our dogs that we talk so much about. Oh.
Sit.
All right.
I missed them sitting. They do
tricks. Sorry. We can do tricks. There we go.
There we go. The good boys. These are the good boys.
That's fantastic. Live at Drew's house, folks. Happy New Year. Stay safe. Bye-bye now. Thanks for everything. Until next time.